Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishna. Lessons for Life from Swami Jagatmananji's inspiring bestseller Learn to Live, Volume 1, Hidden Truth. Infinite power is hidden within every one of us. Swami Jagatmananji has analyzed the subject, which has profound implications on the total growth of children, the subject of developing self-confidence. We, parents, sometimes do immense harm to children when we thrust our likes and dislikes, our ideas and views on our children. We harm children when we try to live our lives through them, when we try to accomplish our unfulfilled goals through our children. We must take care to see that the child does not develop any kind of inferiority complex. A child is like a sapling, a growing plant which is tender. It has to be taken care of with utmost diligence. Parents and teachers are the architects of children's lives. We must give them freedom, at the same time teach them the importance of developing self-discipline in order to attain full growth. The first step is to instill self-confidence in the minds of children. The rest will take care of itself. Now, in this episode, Instil Self-Confidence, Swami Jagatmananji discusses how to instill faith in children by helping them to overcome their fears and diffidence. Instill self-confidence. Instill self-confidence. The pupil was not really unintelligent. His father was not only educated, but was a scholar too. Niranjan was not really unintelligent. Niranjan's father was not only educated, but was a scholar too. It was perhaps his over-enthusiasm that led to the mistake of his goading on his son to learn fast and come up in life. He himself had been a fast learner. He had always got high grades. With the intention of making his son a genius, he began to thrust on him arithmetical problems when he was just 4 years old. When he could not grasp at once, he grew impatient, scolded, and struck the boy to force him to learn. But in vain. The more forcibly he began to teach his son, the more repulsed the mind of the boy became towards mathematics. Though later he didn't torment him with his coaching in maths, he went on taunting and belittling him. By this time, the boy Niranjan had become convinced that he was incapable of learning mathematics and unconsciously started detesting the subject. When he joined school, he realized with utter anguish that in comparison with the other boys, he lagged behind. He had to accept the fact that his powers were inferior. When other boys responded unanimously with S to the teacher's question as to whether they understood the lesson, he felt his inadequacy acutely, but was forced to say S along with them. Once, when it was assumed that the boy was sleeping, he overheard his father telling his mother, "The teacher says Niranjan lags behind in mathematics. There is very little we can do about it." Later, Niranjan's report card of the first quarterly examinations confirmed his fear of being weak in mathematics. He had failed in the examination. After several instances like this, and based on his own experiences, the boy convinced himself that he had no interest in mathematics and that he was essentially a dunce. Later, when the mathematics teacher came to the class, his heart began to beat fast. When he saw the mathematics paper in the examination hall, he began to sweat profusely. He felt like leaving his seat at once. He had asked his more intelligent classmates to help him in revising mathematics lessons. They promised to help, but did not have the patience to explain in detail. Having no other alternative, he learned the art of copying from others, thereby hoodwinking the teacher. Having no other alternative, he learned the art of copying from others, thereby hoodwinking the teacher. It is possible to overcome deep-rooted diffidence by conscious effort. If certain experiences have instilled the feeling that one cannot learn mathematics, exactly opposite experiences or instances can drive it away. Right from the day he joined school, or perhaps even earlier, the boy Niranjan had gradually lost his self confidence. It was necessary to bring him small successes so that he could regain his self confidence gradually. This is the only way to diminish the negative effect of repeated failures. This is the only way to diminish the negative effect of repeated failures. Though it is certainly possible, it is not an easy task. It requires unlimited patience, love, and perseverance on the part of the teacher. The boy would gain courage if he felt that the teacher was trustworthy, that he would not make fun of his pupil's dullness, nor would he lose his temper, but would teach with patience and understanding. Wouldn't a student like to stand on his own feet? Certainly he would. But his own mind and the people around him have rendered him helpless. Both have been working against him. Why did Niranjan ask me to teach him alone? Perhaps he thought that I would otherwise compare him with another boy and find fault with his inferiority. How many of us are aware of the harm that is caused by the feeling of inferiority? A boy who lags behind goes on comparing himself with others when he is constantly rebuked and criticized for being inferior to them. If the feeling that he is a useless person gets instilled in him, it becomes a destructive force. Ironically, it is the very parents who wish well for the children who unconsciously, while trying to do good, actually do them harm. This is the height of ignorance. How can teachers who think it is difficult to get to know their pupils closely ever solve this problem? Swami Jagdatmananji asked this very important question. How can teachers who think it is difficult to get to know their students closely ever solve this problem? But let it be remembered that through patience and sincere work, this is certainly possible.